And welcome back, everyone, to Turnpike Takes. My name is Andrew Hefner alongside Dylan Shaw. Well, as you know, not a single team from New Jersey made it to the big dance of March Madness. Not a single team won their conference championship, and there's just one team still active with the Crown tournament for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights tipping off on April 1st. But if you want to hear more about that, make sure you check out an episode of The Chopping Block coming soon to you. But we already have transfer portal news as right out the gate, some stars of your favorite teams in New Jersey have announced that they would be departing to pursue college basketball elsewhere, maybe still in the same state or outside of it, but that is yet to be seen. First of all, though, Dylan, uh, the main one that I would say is the most hyped already happened a little while ago. We knew this was going to be the case as last year Princeton's Caden Pierce entered the transfer portal and said that he would sit out his last season of eligibility with Princeton, which is exactly what he did. So he spent last season studying, getting that Princeton degree, and he will be taking his basketball talents and former Ivy League Player of the Year talents to Purdue for next season, which of course is one of those top teams in the entire nation for college basketball. I mean, Dylan, do you think that first of all, Purdue was the right choice for a guy like Caden who's really only faced Ivy talent before? And also, do you think that was even the right choice for him to maybe not pull a Xavier Lee and go to Florida, considering how that turned out for him?
Well, yeah, I think that this is a good fit for him. I remember you telling me something about he was considering Notre Dame, or is that,
Hmm.
I believe he was
There
considering
was
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, UConn, Gonzaga, all those schools were, I believe, on the board.
And if you look at these schools, right, like, UConn would be a great fit for him, definitely like with the coaching style of Dan Hurley. But Purdue, just look at their roster construction of this season. Obviously, they lost last night to Arizona, but they lost to the best team in the nation in the Elite Eight, and they kind of run their offense through not really how not like it's kind of like they haven't fully adapted to the new era of basketball in a way. They still run heavy pick and rolls with Braden Smith and Trey Coffin Wren. They have a post center in Oscar Clough, and that's where they ran their offense by. They have some good shooters in Cox and Fletcher Lawyer, but it's not how you'll see like Duke run their roster or Michigan. Just pay their players, get a bunch of size and win because of your NIL money. Purdue doesn't play that way. They are mostly homegrown talent. So I think Caden Pierce, obviously not a homegrown talent of Purdue, but going to a coaching staff that likes to run in like the kind of the mid post area, a lot of easy finishes for taller forwards like Pierce. Pierce is what probably comes in at like 6'8", maybe I want to say 6'7",
Uh,
like
I think he's 6'6", but
six
it's
six.
yeah, yeah, 6'7",
Like
6'6", about that.
yeah, but he kind of plays like that's going to be his role. He's going to be a heavy pick and roll offense with Purdue. And I think Matt Painter is one of the best coaches in the Big Ten, if not the best coach year in, year out. And I'm happy that Pierce is going to hopefully find a role on a team. Unlike Xavier Lee, who went into a really, really good Florida team, came in with this huge bag of NIL money, exceeding like he had to exceed expectations at first, and he didn't really get off to the best start. Obviously, his shooting struggles kind of lasted all year, and then it all came to that boiling pot in the final play of his career, where he just didn't look comfortable. Like that's kind of what this moral was all season. He wasn't comfortable in SEC play. But I think Pierce going to Purdue, who kind of runs a slower offense, knows how to develop players. I think this is the perfect fit for him, and I'm excited as a Rutgers fan. You know, I'll be while I watch a lot of Purdue games. I watch a lot of Big Ten games. I'm excited to see what he can do this coming year, where he will probably make March Madness for what the second time in his collegiate career.
Hmm. Yeah, and the last time he made March Madness, he beat that same Arizona team that his new Purdue Boilermakers just lost to. So definitely a interesting, I guess, talent gap that he may come into the Big Ten with, because you mentioned Xavier heading to the SEC, which I think was the best uh, conference in basketball this year. I know you might disagree with your Big Ten love there, but I think it's gonna be interesting. I think he's gonna have a much easier time adapting than Xavier did in a lot of ways because Caden was always more of a, and I don't want to make this sound like a diss or anything like that. He was more of a team player, I think, than Xavier, and was more involved with designed plays and things like that, and would always dish out the ball when needed, which is why he also racked up a lot of assists and more assists than Xavier at times throughout his career. So yeah, I mean, I think he's going to have an okay time. He's of course now he's going to have more time than any other player who has been in the transfer portal because he committed a couple weeks ago now to get acclimated with this Purdue team. So I think that's going to be fun. And the other reason for going to Purdue is his brother Alex Pierce re-signed with the Indianapolis Colts. So
I
they're going
did
to
not
now
know they're
be
brothers.
yeah, so they're now going to be in the same state for the first time. And also, Caden just won the international FIBA 3-on-3 competition. I believe he won gold with Team USA, and his other brother, I'm forgetting his name right now, so I apologize for that. The two of them were on that team together. So a lot of sports talent in that family. Nothing else for Princeton in terms of transfer portal besides the fact that Dalen Davis officially confirmed his intention to stay. He was probably the best or second best player for Princeton this year when he was not injured. He had a leg injury um, early on in the season, which left him out for most of the non-conference schedule. But besides that, he was pretty good throughout the year. So that's definitely it's still just a confirmation for him to come back, but that's still huge that they were able to make sure that he will be returning. And he was also an Ivy All-League honorable mention this season as well.
He's gonna be a senior, I believe, right? It's just
Yeah, he
he's
will.
played 3 years already. Yeah, I like Dalen Davis. He's just one of those guys who just improves every year. Like he's develops in like 6 points, 9 points, and like took the big jump to 15 this year.
Yeah,
And as we were saying on our last episode, kind of um talking about the end of Princeton's season, they're trying to keep their core together because for what the like what one of the youngest rosters in all of college basketball, if not at least the Ivy League, this past year, like if they can bring back every guy, which Dalen Davis is a really good start, they're definitely going to be better than where they were this year, and they're at least going to compete to get a top four seed in that and make that tournament. But like, yeah, Jalen Davis is like the foundation of this. He's kind of their big guard. He's a good defender. He's kind of the heart and soul of the team. I like him, and I'm glad he didn't pull like a Lee or a Pierce and kind of left the program. But yeah, I think this is good. This is a good keep for Henderson.
100%. And again, hopefully, uh, they're gonna want to keep him throughout this season alongside with all of his other teammates that hopefully will be coming back with him as well. No news on that yet, but it seems pretty likely that they will be getting most of that team back. Next up is going to be Seton Hall, who lost in the semifinals of the Big East tournament this year. Of course, one of the most improbable seasons we've ever seen from a New Jersey basketball team, although that's hard to beat when teams like FDU have upset Purdue and St. Peter's have made it to the Elite Eight. And this team didn't even make it to their conference finals. But they were still a good team overall, and a large part of that is thanks to Shaheen Holloway and the transfer portal, which was an absolute masterclass with who they were able to pick up. And although the scoring wasn't great towards the end of the season, they couldn't hit threes for much of the season. It was still a great year for the Pirates, and they're hoping that some of those players will return as well. I'm trying to find where the quote was on this, but I believe there was someone who said that Bud Clark wanted to return. I don't quote me on that yet until I find what this was. But I mean, if you can get him back, you automatically get a couple other players back who want to keep playing with him because Bud Clark was pretty amazing all season long for the Pirates.
And always been considered to be like a player friendly coach. People like to play for him. That's always like the number one, the most important thing in trying to bring players to your team through the portal. Your coach needs to be like in this day and age, it's no longer like you just take all the orders from the coach, and if you ever defy him, you're not going to play all that. Now it's like they have more relationships. Like the best coaches, like you put like John Shire, Todd Golden, like Holloway, they all have like this not like friends relationship, but like kind of like they're more of a mentor, not like they're more of a mentor to their players, and their players can relate with them better because a lot of these coaches are younger now. They've experienced college basketball in their past, so they're not new to this, and they kind of know what it is to be a player. Shaheen Holloway is one perfect example of that, who was an outstanding Seton Hall player back in his day. So I think people
Right.
like to play for him, and I think that's what happened this year with how they brought in players like Bud Clark over teams like Rutgers, who did offer him a lot of money. But again, I don't think Steve Pikiell is as good of a recruiter as Holloway is. So hopefully Holloway can bring in another good batch of guys. I don't know. I haven't really seen anything about their freshman class. Not doesn't stand out to me, but again, Jai Hines was like a 3-star, 4-star coming in this year, and he played a pivotal role for them to reach 21 wins. So hoping to see another good year in recruiting.
Yeah, I believe their only commit right now for next year is Darian Moore, who is a 6'2" shooting guard, 4-star recruit out of Troy, New York. So
That's
um,
good. It's a good
I,
guy. I mean,
that's good. I think the portal though is going to be important.
yeah, when your team like Seton
Oh
Hall, like
wow,
they got no
he
football.
yeah he committed 2 years ago in 2024. So
Mhm.
that's
That's
interesting as well.
yeah. I mean, with no football major football team like for a Big East team, a lot of the money goes to the basketball programs. So I feel like the philosophy for Holloway, it's like if I see a guy that I like to recruit in like out of high school, they'll get him. But realistically, a lot of their money is going to go to junior, senior year transfers who's trying to go up from the mid-major level to like the Big East program. That's kind
Right.
of what the new day and age of college basketball really is.
Right. Next team up is going to be NJIT, who also defied a lot of odds this season and made it uh, deep in their conference tournament as well in the America East. Unfortunately, lost, I believe, to Vermont in that tournament as well and did not make the big dance. Um, and despite that, despite really defying all odds and going from 3 wins last season to, well, way more than that. Um, there's still at least one transfer out so far, but I want to talk about who's staying first and who confirmed that he's staying, which is going to be David Bolden. He was a freshman this year, but he was pretty incredible. 11.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.8 assists. He needs to get his field goal and efficiency up. But besides that, being able to bring him back is huge in every way for the Highlanders.
Yeah, maintaining freshmen, I think, is like one of the hardest things to do as a mid-major because if you have such a good season like Bolden had, sometimes they want to jump the gun and go up to the next level quicker. But I think Bolden made the correct decision. I think he has a follow-up this year with just getting better, hopefully bringing NJIT to another level, maybe the championship game, maybe the March Madness. But yeah, like this is again kind of similar to like a Bud Clark where, as you're saying, if one guy stays, like your point guard stays, then other people decide to stay with him because they know that like keep your core together, you're just going to get better instead of leaving for somewhere else where your playing time and your role is always going to be a question.
100%. Um, Someone who had a good season and really the game or season saving shot for NJIT, Ari Fulton. He's 6'7" power forward for the Highlanders this year. He averaged 10.9 points, 6.2 rebounds, 1.2 assists, and he was a sophomore. He announced that he would be the first of the Highlanders to enter the transfer portal officially. He was a 3-star prospect when he committed to NJIT a couple years ago. Um, he also, when that happened, had, I believe, offers from Hampton and ECU. He is a North Carolina native, and now he will be entering the portal officially. So, I think he's going to go somewhere good, at least a bit more of a higher mid major. I don't think there's going to be anything particularly crazy though, unless some scouting department sees him as like a wonder kid that no one had seen before.
Yeah, as you're saying, he's from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Actually, what school is down there? If there's one school is from Fayetteville.
I will find out for you. Uh, Wait, I feel like there is.
Or is Fayetteville there's a town in Arkansas. Is Fayetteville in Arkansas?
Yeah, Fayetteville's in Arkansas as well.
Yeah, that's where Arkansas. Right, never mind. But yeah, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I mean, that's gonna help some. Like, that's gonna probably impact his decision a little bit. A lot of these guys, like, they don't have their initial. I know he had an ECU offer, but I bet that was like coming with limited playing time. So a lot of these guys go up to like Northeast or wherever, play a little bit, like then enter the portal and hopefully get offers. Like I just like a Charlotte offering him, like a Georgia team offering him, some like mid-major teams that could use a bench piece. Um, he's only going to be a junior, so that's going to help him a lot because people would like to have transfers for like multiple years instead of just bringing in a guy who's he's going to play for you for only 1 year. But yeah, look for him to go down south. If not, I see like some MAC teams trying to pick him up, just kind of go up the levels because that's what a lot of these guys do. They'll go up for one level to try to jump up a few conferences, and if they show out once again in that conference, then they can make the final jump to like a Power Five or high major school.
Yeah, 100%. All right, next school up in this kind of way too early transfer portal episode is going to be FDU, uh, who lost unfortunately in the first round as the sixth seed, I believe, in their tournament um, for the NEC. And really, they had a lot of talent on their team this year, led by Joey Niesman, who is a grad student, so he is on his way out anyways, but also Eric Parnell, who was a redshirt senior this year, so he's going to retain one more year of eligibility. He spent the beginning of his career at Eastern Florida State, which is not Division One, and then at Hofstra before making his way to FDU, where he took a pretty big step up this year, averaging, let's see, I believe he averaged 10.7
Hmm.
this year. So uh, that was good enough to be one of their top scorers as well. And I think that he's going to have a pretty good chance to go somewhere decent, especially with the amount of, uh, I guess, experience he brings from being in Hofstra, which, of course, if he had stayed, he would have had that crazy run that they had this year, but as well as FDU, because he is kind of experience all over now.
Yeah, I mean, I think experience definitely helps him. I think I don't know if he's gonna go high major. That's gonna be hard. It always is hard, but I can definitely see him jumping to one of the best mid majors out there or a low high major if they take a shot. But I think it's kind of what he wants. Maybe a chance at March Madness, as you're saying, like he missed out with Hofstra this year. But he did his year with FDU served him well. He proved that he's capable scorer, proved that he's a capable player, and I think that's what he was hoping for. Now he's gonna make the jump up again. I think he's a good player, so yeah, kind of sucks for FDU though because they already like they weren't the best team in the NEC. They kind of had some early season struggles, but losing one of their core pieces of this year, it's going to be hard to recover from. But and again, like as you mentioned, Joey Niesman's also leaving, but we'll see who they can pick up in the portal and if they can recover back and maybe make a push for the NEC. But right now, it's not looking too bright for the Knights.
Yeah, so after FDU is going to come Monmouth, who made it all the way to the finals of the CAA this year before falling in that game. They have one player officially in the portal, one player that we're just waiting on some more information from him. The one who is officially in the portal is going to be Andrew Ball, who is a native of New Jersey. He averaged 7.9 points this year, 3.9 rebounds, 0.6 assists. He is 6'9" out of Marlton, New Jersey. Um, let's see. I don't. So he played in 34 games this season. Uh, and I believe he also spent all of his time. Yeah, so he spent all of
Yeah.
his time so far as well with um, Monmouth. He redshirted his sophomore year due to an injury, so he's going to have 2 years of eligibility remaining. And yeah, I mean, this is a good pickup really for anyone. I don't know if I understand the reason for him transferring besides just playing time. I don't know if he's going to jump to a bigger school necessarily. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one.
Yeah, he got 20 minutes of playing time this year. Again, yeah, I do agree. I think he would have probably made another jump in playing time with Monmouth, but Also, you don't know what his reason for it, change of scenery, something like that. But yeah, no, I think he'll stay in the same level. He's a good shooter. Every team kind of needs the type of guy to come in there and get you a few threes, swing the momentum of a game. But yeah, he might even stay in conference for all we know. A lot of people do that. They like to stay in conference. Like you can see someone like Drexel, like Charleston, if they want to pick a guy up and put him on the bench. Yeah, I mean, I think he's Andrew Ball is a good scorer, and he's gotten better all 3 years as a Hawk. So
Uh, so Andrew Ball has made one official visit already since entering the portal as well, and that's to LaSalle. So yeah, kind of right around that same level ish.
yeah,
But yeah,
LaSalle is actually a conference wise, that's a upgrade. Obviously, they are in the bottom of the A10 right now, like rankings wise this year, but the A10 already right there is like maybe two or three, maybe even more. Like it's a pretty good conference. Like if LaSalle can turn it around, they the A10 brought in what two March Madness bids, and both of them won their first round game. So
yeah, yeah. I think LaSalle would be a big jump for him. So that would be cool there. Um, all right, continuing onwards, St. Peter's. This is gonna be a quick one. There's no news out of St. Peter's. They made a huge splash in the transfer portal last year, really picking up a lot of guys that helped them make it. Help them clinch the number two seed in the MAAC before falling in the first round to Fairfield. Um, but yeah, I mean they were a good team this year. No news on anyone transferring out, which bodes well for Bashir Mason. And they only have one incoming freshman coming in so far, and that is Mason Santiago. But this is not the episode for incoming freshmen, which we will discuss a little more as recruiting goes on the next couple of weeks, because this is about to be a crazy off season. But I mean, Dylan, if they retain basically all their players here, uh, do you think that they're going to have the same success as last year?
yeah, I don't see why not. Um, yeah,
Remember,
they have a
Brent
good.
Bland
They
is out. Yeah,
That is
Brent
true. That
Bland
is
is out,
true.
obviously. Yeah.
I mean, they're obviously gonna get someone in the portal. St. Peter's is like always been like a solid team. I think they'll be fine. I don't know if they'll be second in the conference once again, but no, they'll be fine. They just need to make sure they have. They need to do something. They can't come leave the portal empty-handed, especially with their top scorer leaving. But yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah, so also the next team in the MAC is Ryder. And the question there is it's just such an interesting situation. We've talked about this multiple times, but like, what do you do about that situation? Because at this point, they're just playing all bye games in their non-conference schedule to make some money for the university. You have actual talent as well in Flash Burton, Zion Cruz. Like, where do you go from that? Because I don't know if you can really build a competent team here with people who would want to go play at the school knowing their history.
I mean, you got to look at D2, D3 players. Like you got to make a rebuild that way. Um, That's your best shot, and honestly, I think that's a good shot in the first place because you're right. No D1 player is going to go to Rider because that's mostly dropping level, and like if unless it's their final option, like there's not a good chance they do that. But if you look at D3, D2, like some of the good schools from there who want to make the first jump to D1 and they're not getting heavily looked at, I don't see why not. Why not offer them?
So
Because
yeah,
can the season really get worse than what they had this year? I don't think so.
so I'm on just scrolling Twitter right now. Um, we do have transfer portal news for Ryder actually. Forward Davis Bynum entered the portal. He had 6 points per game, 3.6 rebounds in 28 games played this year. And they've also offered a ton of players in the portal, like a lot. Um, so they've offered a JUCO player, Gerardo Guerrero.
Yeah,
Um,
Juco's going to be a good. That's a
yeah,
good look for them.
so they offered him. Let me keep scrolling through this because there's actually a ton of offers here.
While you do
Um,
that, I see there's a report right as I was talking about. Like they're not dropping from D1 and they're not planning on it anytime soon.
yeah,
But the institution is undergoing major, this is quote, restructuring due to a severe financial crisis, while 25% of faculty positions are being cut and employee pay is being reduced to 21 NCAA Division I sports teams are currently set to remain with university officials focusing on staying open and maintaining operations. So they're kind of in a state where they are a little struggling financially. So, and the basketball program isn't doing well either, so I don't know how much money they're realistically going to get. You say they're offering a lot of players, but I guarantee you they're offering a lot of players because they know that 95% of them won't go. But if they hit on the two, that if they hit on two or three, then that'd be good.
And that's also assuming like who's returning as well. So here's what I found. So Cal State Monterey Bay, which is D2, Jaden Tangen got an offer from them. He averaged 17.3 points, 2.3 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1 steal per game last year, which honestly like that would be a good pickup if you can uh, make
I mean,
that one work.
yeah,
Let's
but
see what else we
17
got
points
here.
per game really is inflated based on the level, but
Right. Next one, Connors State, which I believe is also D2, um, went on an official visit to Ryder. He had 19 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and he is 6'5". Um, let's see. There's also, I think there was one more that I saw, if I could find it. Yeah, JUCO transfer Papa Quanta has been in contact with Albany, Omaha, Washington State, Rider, Longwood, South Dakota State, Boston, Georgia Southern, Sacramento State, Toledo, and Evansville,
he's not going to
um,
Ryder.
which means he's probably not going to Rider. But uh, he did. He is going to be making that visit today, actually, or making that contact today.
Yeah,
So
go
I
after
mean,
people, try to pick up some guys. D2, D3, JUCO's your best shot. It's not going to be a good year next year, but all you need to do is do a little bit better and just continue to build your program up because look at Seton Hall. They went from 7 wins to 21. It takes 1 or 2 good years for people to believe in your program once again. And yeah, Ryder does not play in a hard conference. It's always possible. But yeah, I don't really know what the direction is. I don't, yeah, but almost it's a
yeah,
reset. It's like an NFL team rebuilding, kind of like trading away their players and trying to get drafted. That's what they're doing right now. All their
right,
guys, they're leaving. They're gonna let some guys go. Most of the guys are gonna transfer, and it's time to build in a new roster. Can you do what Drake did? Can you do what Drake did with Ben McCollum and hire a D2 coach and bring all their players in, and then turn yourself into a tournament team in a couple years? Like, can you do that? Or and obviously that's like a rare that's not uncommon to have, but can you do something similar to that? Are you going to keep your coaching staff? Like a lot of questions up in this athletic department. Do they have the money to fire the coaching staff? But we'll
yeah.
see.
Well, that's gonna do it. We'll save Rutgers for the chopping block, but thanks everyone so much for listening to this episode of Turnpike Takes and Garden State Sports. Again, my name is Andrew alongside Dylan. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're gonna try to get some guests on soon, whether that's reporters, maybe players in the portal. But we're gonna be working hard on trying to make that work. Again, thanks everyone so much for listening. Make sure you check out GardenStateSports.net. And yeah, have a great time watching the end of March Madness. Hopefully, we'll see some of these players who are going in the portal maybe there next year. At least that would make it worthwhile for us to see some players succeeding. I wouldn't say either of us were necessarily happy with how Xavier Lee performed in March Madness, but it's still cool to see a guy that you saw kind of in person and you saw grow up get to play on the biggest stage. Have a good weekend, everyone. Enjoy some college basketball, and we will see you next week.